Good evening, dear parents. As we navigate the ever-evolving landscape of modern parenting, one question often lingers: how much pressure is too much or too little? It's my pleasure to welcome you all to our webinar, Pressure Busters, Finding the Goldilocks Zone for Optimal Growth. And today we'll delve into the art and science of balancing expectations and support, aiming to identify that just right zone where our children can thrive without feeling overwhelmed. So, when I prepared for tonight's topic, I remembered a book I read long ago which resonated deeply with me, sparking a flurry of introspection. It was The Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mother by Amy Chua, released in 2011. Now, through her vivid narrative, Chua offers a lens into what she terms as Chinese style parenting, which sharply contrasts with the softer Western style approach. Chua painted a portrait of parenting marked by rigorous standards. It was almost mesmerizing to read about her belief in holding children to almost impossibly high standards. Imagine children dedicating hours to daily music practice or rewriting assignments until they bordered on perfection. The book also delved into the cultural contrasts that underpin parenting philosophies. Even though Chua admittedly overgeneralized the Chinese versus Western parenting archetypes, it sparked a curiosity in me about where the line between authoritarian and permissive parenting lies. Yet, what truly caught the public eye were the controversial methods Chua employed, from barring her children from playdates and sleepovers to a stark reaction to handmade birthday cards, which she felt lacked effort. Her tactics were, to many, too radical. The media was ablaze with critique, while some saw the merits in her unwavering dedication. Others worried about the potential emotional toll on her children. So, what I found most intriguing was Chua's journey of self reflection. As I turned the pages, it was clear that her methods were foolproof. And when her younger daughter Lulu started pushing back against the pressure, Chua found herself at a crossroads, questioning the university of her approach. And so much, and so how much pressure should one put on your children to perform? Our world has evolved rapidly, and so have the expectations placed upon our children. Think about technology, social media, globalization. These elements have considerably shifted the landscape of what we expect from our kids today, as opposed to just a generation ago. There's a common thought, perhaps a misconception, that increasing pressure will invariably lead to higher success. But does it truly, and at what cost? Have you ever heard about the Goldilocks zone? Remember the classic tale, not too hard, not too soft, just right? This zone isn't a one size fits all. Each child with a unique personality and threshold might have a different just right. And it's our job as guardians, mentors, parents to discern what that point is. But what happens when the balance tips? On the one side, too little pressure might lead to complacency, missed chances to learn resilience, and perhaps unexplored potential. On the other hand, excessive pressure can culminate in a heightened anxiety, burnout, strained relationships, and even a lifelong aversion to learning or exploration. And let's not forget the emotional toll. It's not solely about grades or trophies. It's about nurturing children who are not only accomplished, but also emotionally content and robust. So, how much pressure do you place on your children? We're going to do a quick questionnaire, and all I want you to think about is yes or no, and try to count in the back of your head how many yeses you have and how many no's you have to these questions. So, do you frequently remind your child of the consequences of not succeeding in their activities, for example, academics or sports? Yes or no? Do you often compare your child's performance or achievements to their peers or siblings? Yes or no? Do you find yourself frequently disappointed when your child doesn't achieve the top results, even if they tried their best? Yes or no? Is your child's schedule filled with multiple extracurricular activities or tutoring sessions that leave little free time for relaxation or play? Yes or no? And do you express frustration or show maybe visible upset when your child tells you they did not win or score the highest in an activity or exam? Yes or no? Have you set specific goals for your child's future? For example, attending a specific school or university or pursuing a particular career without consulting them about their interests or aspirations? Yes or no? Does your child frequently mention feelings of stressed, anxious, and overwhelmed by their responsibilities and the expectations placed on them? Yes or no? And have you ever dismissed or belittled your child's feelings when they express concern about the pressure they feel? Yes or no? So if you answered yes to more than half of these questions, so at least at 4 of them, it may be a sign that you're putting significant pressure on your child. So let's look into the science behind pressure. Whenever our children face pressure, it triggers the release of stress hormones in the body. This isn't inherently bad. In fact, stress in the right amounts can be very beneficial. So let's talk about the positives first. Optimal levels of stress can actually enhance memory. It's like how we sometimes remember where we were and what we were doing during an important event because our senses were heightened at that point. Similarly, a bit of academic or extracurricular pressure can sharpen our children's recall abilities. Moreover, the same pressure can serve as a powerful motivator. It can be that gentle nudge they need to pick up their books, practice an instrument, or step out of their comfort zones. But as with many things in life, it's all about balance. Too much of that pressure, and we start seeing some troubling effects. For one, our children can get burnout. They might lose interest in the activities they once loved or feel perpetually drained. There's also the looming shadow of anxiety, that constant nagging worry about not being good enough or letting someone down. And let's not forget the broader health implications. Chronic, unchecked stress weakens the immune system and can make our children more susceptible to illnesses. So, as we navigate this journey of parenting in a high pressure world, our challenge is to ensure our children experience the benefits of optimal stress while shielding them from the excessive downsides. It's a delicate balance, but together we can strive to get it right. So let's look at the psychology of pressure. The first one I would like to talk about is the effects on self-esteem and self-worth. At the core of every individual, especially young ones, is a sense of self, their self-esteem and their self-worth. Pressure, particularly when it's external and persistent, can profoundly shape how they perceive themselves. While positive reinforcement and gentle encouragement can boost their confidence, undue pressure, especially if they fail to meet certain expectation, can diminish their sense of self-worth. They might start equating their values with achievements, and any setbacks can make them feel less about themselves. So it's vital for us as caregivers to ensure they understand that their worth is intrinsic and not tied up to their accomplishments. It can also influence a child's motivation and drive. The right amount of pressure can indeed act as a catalyst propelling our children to aim higher, to work harder, and to achieve more. It can instill discipline, a strong work ethic, and resilience. However, if the pressure becomes the primary source of their motivation, The genuine joy of learning or pursuing a passion might diminish. They could end up doing things just to meet your or other people's expectations, not out of genuine interest or enthusiasm. We need to inspire them to be internally driven, where their motivations come from a place of passion and interest and not just external pressures. The last one on this slide is pressures is as a double-edged sword. Like a like a two-sided coin, pressure it has its pros and cons. On one side, it can serve as that vital push, encouraging children to stretch their boundaries, face challenges head on, and grow. On the flip side, excessive pressure can lead to burnout, anxiety, and a fear of failure. The key lies in understanding and identifying when is pressure beneficial and when might it be causing harm. So let's look at the importance of balance. And the first aspect here to discuss is healthy motivation versus the debilitating stress. Balance is about striking that right chord between motivating our children to aim high and ensuring they don't buckle under undue stress. Healthy motivation propels them forward, igniting a spark of passion and the desire to achieve. It's that gentle nudge that encourages them to persevere even when the going gets tough. Conversely, stress does the opposite. It paralyzes, making every task feel insurmountable. When pressure starts overshadowing their innate curiosity, the balance has been upset and it's crucial to recalibrate. Our role as guardians is to foster an environment where motivation thrives, but stress is kept in check. And the significance of joy in learning is something that we really need to focus on. Balance is not just about managing stress, it's also about fostering joy. Think back to your most cherished learning memories. Chances are they imbued with moments of joy, discovery, and wonder. And when children associate learning with pleasure, it ceases to be a chore. It transforms into an adventure, a journey they're eager to embark on. Now, balancing this rigor of academics with the joy of exploration ensures that our children remain lifelong learners, curious and overeager to delve into the unknown. Last on this slide is fostering resilience and adaptability in children. So balance plays a crucial role in developing these two most sought after life skills, resilience and adaptability. Life, as we know, is full of ups and downs, and a balanced approach teaches children that setbacks are just temporary pauses, not permanent roadblocks. It equips them with the grit to bounce back, learn from their experience, and adapt to new situations. But not shielding them entirely from challenges, but providing a supportive safety net that will allow them to build resilience. By encouraging them to embrace change and new experiences, we foster adaptability. It's important that we will know what the pressure levels are for our children and how to identify them. So as we steer our children through phases of growing up, one of the paramount roles we play is that of a keen observer, particularly in gauging the levels of pressure they experience in that point in time. Let's unpack this by discussing the signs we can look out for at different pressure points and how to act upon them. So let's first look at the signs of healthy pressure. When pressure is at an optimal level, it acts as a catalyst for growth. And here's what it looks like. Enthusiasm. When children are excited about an upcoming project, a competition, or even just a regular school day, it's a clear indication that they're feeling motivated and not overwhelmed. Challenge. A bit of struggle is good if your child is grappling with problems but is determined to solve them. It's a sign that they're just being stretched just to the right amount. And then curiosity. Healthy pressure kindles curiosity. Children will have questions, will want to explore more, and will exhibit a hunger for knowledge. Now let's look at the warning signs of too much pressure. There's a thin line between healthy motivation and overwhelming pressure. And here's when you should start being concerned. This is very, very important. You need to look out for these signs. The first one is avoidance. If your child suddenly starts avoiding school, homework, a specific subject, or maybe a specific sport, it might be a red flag that they're feeling too pressurized. Emotional breakdowns, frequent crying, bouts of anger, or heightened irritability can be indicators that the pressure has started to affect their emotional well-being. And then health issues, complaints of sudden headaches, stomach pains, or any other unexplained health issues, especially around tests or important events, can be a sign that the stress is manifesting physically. And that can also be part of avoiding and avoidance. And then the last one we need to focus on is recognizing signs of complacency. So on the other end of the spectrum, too little pressure might lead to a lack of motivation. I think this is what we're all scared of, how to find that balance to not have a lack of motivation. And here are the things that you need to look out for. There's a lack of interest. If your child seems disinterested in activities they once enjoyed or appears generally indifferent towards new learning opportunities, they might be becoming complacent. And then passive learning, rather than being an active participant in their learning journey, they might start waiting to be told what to do, showing little initiative or proactivity. So for us as parents, our task is to be vigilant observers, turning into the subtle and the sometimes not so subtle cues our children give us, and recognizing where they are on the pressure spectrum and making necessary adjustments can really pave the way for a balanced, joyful, and enriching learning environment. It's important that we talk about parenting styles and pressure, because your parenting style directly influences the amount and the nature of the pressure your children experiences. So how do you choose to nurture your children? Nurture children have a big say in how they will turn out to be in the future. So the balance or imbalance of expectations and empathy in each parenting approach can significantly shape a child's perception of pressure and self-worth. And on this sketch, you'll see from loving parents to very cold, and then horizontally, it's from very fixed to versus very open routines and approach. And that's how you determine all these parenting styles. So it will be interesting for you to maybe think about your own parenting style. And the first one, we're going to go about 7 or 8 of them. So the first one is authoritarian or a disciplinarian kind of parenting. So parents the parent with this parenting style have very high expectations and rules which they expect to be followed without exception. And if the feedback is not great, it's always and the feedback will also be very punitive for the children. So the pressure on children might feel constant pressure to meet exact standards, fearing punishment or disapproval for any misstep. The symbol we call these parents usually the lions because it represents authority, power, and dominance. And just as a lion leads its pride with undeniable authority, authoritarian parents rule their households with clear dominance. And then you have typical reactions again to failure. The typical reaction from a lion parent will be, I expect better from you. You should have studied more and no going out this weekend. And if they win, this is what I expect from you at all times. Continue to perform like this. And you can read between the lines what kind of pressure that this puts on children from this kind of receiving this kind of parenting style. And then you get your permissive or indulgent parent. And this parent set few boundaries and are generally non-confrontational. They often act more like a friend than a parental figure. The pressure on children, kids might face social pressures to conform, as they might lack self-discipline, and they may also feel internal pressure to determine, especially their boundaries. Now, here we use the willow tree as a symbol. We call them the willow trees. They are flexible and bending, and the willow tree yields to external forces instead of resisting or providing structure, much like permissive parents yield to their children's desires. So here we have very children who are in control in this relationship and not the parents. So typical reactions from this kind of parent is on failure. Oh, it's okay. Everyone has off days. Do you want to get some ice cream? And when there's a winning, oh, this is amazing. I'm proud of you. Let's celebrate however you'd like. So the child is in full control in this relationship, and that really makes them feel very unsafe and puts a lot of pressure on them internally. And then we get the uninvolved or the neglectful parent. This parent provides little guidance, nurturing, or attention, sometimes due to stress or maybe a very difficult work environment, needs to be away a lot, have a hectic schedule every day. So lots of external factors make it impossible for them to be involved. And then the pressure on children might feel the pressure to be self-reliant prematurely. So they still need a lot of support from the parents, but they don't get it. They might also bear the emotional stress of feeling unvalued or overlooked. Unvalued or overlooked. Here the symbol we use, we call them the deserts. Deserts evoke feelings of emptiness, abandonment, and a lack of nourishment, which can parallel the emotional landscape children might feel under uninvolved parents. And then typical reactions from your uninvolved desert parents will be on failure, might not even notice or react, but when they react, they will say, oh, you had a test. Or when it's winning again, might not notice or give any significant reaction. That's nice. So I think you can read between the lines. And then authoritative parenting is also very interesting. This style combines a fair amount of discipline with warmth and nurturing. Parents set clear expectations, but also consider their children's opinions. And this is the one that we are striving towards, because the kids are encouraged to strive and achieve, but also have the support. They can communicate their challenge and receive their support. We call authoritative parenting, we call the oak trees, because they are sturdy and strong, yet providing shade and protection. To the authoritative parenting style. So how will an authoritative parent then react to failure? I notice you struggled with this. Let's discuss. There are shared responsibility, and the child will be in a safe space. On winning, I'm really proud of your hard work. Keep it up. I remember keep it up. Remember, it's the effort and learning that counts. I will even go further and say it's not only me that's proud of you. You can be so proud of yourself, because we always want children to be proud of themselves. So this is one of the parenting styles we really strive to achieve in our parenting relationships. And then attachment parenting is also quite interesting. If you look at the little koala here, you'll see the child on its back. This style promotes a strong early attachment and advocates parental empathy towards a child's emotions. So the pressure on the child, well, these children might feel less academic or suicidal pressure early on. They might feel emotional stress if overly attached to a parent in situations that they actually should be independent. And here we look at the koala bears. Koala are known for their strong attachment to eucalyptus trees, just as children in attachment parenting are also closely bonded to their parents. So how will your attachment parent then react? Typical reactions will include for failure. It's okay, darling. I'm here for you. We are in this together. let's talk about your feelings. And then the winning reaction will be, I'm so proud of you. I knew you could do it. Let's share this moment together. And then you get your helicopter parents, a very interesting phenomenon. Most parents do not want to admit that they are helicopter parents. Parents are hyper focused on their children's experiences and problems, often intervening even if it's not necessary. We literally, they are like hovering hawks over their children, always on the lookout, watching closely from above and ready to swoop down at the first sign of trouble, much like the ever watchful helicopter parent. So the pressure on children, kids might feel very pressure, feel a lot of pressure to avoid making mistakes, knowing that their parents are constantly watching. And they might also feel stressed from not being allowed to handle situations independently, because the parent is like a helicopter always over their heads and mess with things that they should actually leave to their children to solve themselves. So typical reactions from a helicopter parent to failure is, I'll speak to your teacher about this. Maybe you need extra tutoring. I'll set that up for you. So the child is not taking any responsibility, that mom and dad will take all the responsibility for everything. And then for winning, a great job. I knew the new strategy I found for you worked well. I'll make sure we keep on top of everything else too. And I think you can read between the lines where the pressure in this situation is. And then you get your free range parents, which we call them the wild horses. And these parents encourages children to function independently with little parental supervision in belief of learning from natural consequences. The pressure on children might feel suicidal pressures, society pressures as they navigate challenges independently, but they might also develop resilience and problem solving skills from their experiences. So we call them the wild horses because children are free to roam vast landscapes. Wild horses represent freedom, independence, and that independence is the key word here, and natural growth, mirroring the principles of a free-range parenting. So how will a free-range parent then react to failure? What do you think went wrong? Remember, failures offer great learning opportunities. Find your way forward. And then on winning, good job. I'm glad you handled this on your own. Keep using your instincts and learn from your experiences. So free range parents are very interesting, but sometimes they put too much pressure on the child to solve problems independently from too young. And these are some of the more well-known parenting styles. And it's important for you as a parent to determine where you are. Remember, in different situations, we take on different parenting styles. So our parenting style is not always the same, but there's usually a kind of a theme in your parenting style. And your parenting style can directly influence and have a big impact on the amount of pressure that your child is experiencing. Because if you are expecting too much independence from them too early, they might feel neglected and experience a lot of pressure. Again, if you never allow them to take any pressure, then they will never know how to deal with pressure. So it's very important to find a good balance, and balance is the theme of this talk tonight. So let's look at actionable tips and methods. So it's very important regularly check in with your child about how they feel, and then foster an environment where where they are comfortably discussing their anxieties, their achievements, and everything in between. It's so important that you will prioritize downtime. Ensure your child has sufficient free time for relaxation and hobbies. This helps them recharge and offers a break from the routine pressures of academics and extracurriculars. And then very important, and no one is taking responsibility for this, so parents should take responsibility for this, to teach stress relief techniques to your child. Introduce them to techniques like deep breathing exercises, meditation, or even simple stretches. Younger children might benefit from calming activities like coloring in or listening to soothing music. And then the big thing for modern teenagers is to limit overscheduling. While extracurricular activities are excellent for holistic growth, juggling too many can lead to burnout. So find a balance that works for your child. And then with that, set realistic expectations. It's essential for it's essential to set expectations based on your child's capabilities and desires, not external or what society is pressuring from them. And then for me, it's important to celebrate effort, not only results. Sometimes we do celebrate results, but we also should celebrate effort. So praise your child for their hard work and their perseverance, irrespective of the outcome. This reinforces the value of the process over the end. And then to continue with some tips and methods, a well-rested, well-nourished child better handle pressures, ensure they get adequate sleep and are eating a balanced diet. And then teach them time management skills. Equip your child with skills to manage their time efficiently. A planned approach can reduce the feeling of being overwhelmed. And then seek professional help if needed. If you notice prolonged signs of high stress or anxiety, it might be beneficial to consult with a counselor or a psychologist. And then also, you have to model healthy stress management to your child. Children often emulate their parents, so show them how you handle stress in positive ways. And then, very importantly, stay connected with teachers. Regular communication with your child's teachers can give you insights into their academic pressures and how to best support them. And then encourage physical activity. Regular exercises can be a fantastic stress reliever, whether it's a sport, dance, or just regular walks. Physical activity can boost mood and alleviate stress. Establish routines. Consistency can provide a sense of security. While it's okay to have exceptions, a general routine helps children know what to expect. And then foster independence. Allow your child to make choices and take responsibility for their actions. It builds confidence and resilience, helping them handle pressure better in the long run. And here we talk specifically to our helicopter parents. And then quality over quantity, rather than focusing on the number of activities or hours of study, focus on the quality and the depth of experience and learning. So what to do if you have put too much pressure on your kids? We are all guilty of it. A lot of times we do put too much pressure because we know how much life is expected from them and how difficult it is to survive. So as parents, we want to put pressure on them, but how do you know if you've put too much pressure on your child? The first one is open a dialogue. Initiate candid conversations with your child. And if you've put too much pressure for them to be in that first team, and it was kind of your dream that they need to fulfill, apologize for the undue pressure and assure them that you're willing to make changes and listen to their feelings without being defensive. And then self-reflection is very important. Understand your motivations. Are they for your child's well-being that you put so much pressure on your child? Or is it maybe because of society or your community or your circle of friends? Or are they maybe your own unfulfilled ambitions because you always try to be in the first team, you couldn't make it, now your child has to do it. So recognizing the root cause can really help in realigning your priorities. And then reinforce unconditional love. Assure your child that your love isn't contingent on their achievements. They need to know they're valued beyond their grades or trophies. And then prioritize mental health. Recognizing the signs of stress or anxiety in your child is so important. Call it by its name. If you can name it, you can tame it. And if you can say it, you can talk about it. Consider seeking professional help or counseling if needed. And then also set realistic expectations. It's okay to have aspirations for your child, but ensure those expectations align with their strengths, their interests, and their unique paths. And then also encourage independence. Allow your child to make choices and experience natural consequences. It helps build resilience, decision-making skills, and a sense of responsibility. Value effort over results. Praise your child for their dedication and perseverance and hard work, irrespective of the end result. And then reassess extracurricular activities often. Ensure that your child's schedule includes activities they're genuinely passionate about, rather than those they might simply take for to have a good CV. And then spend quality time together, engage in activities that aren't achievement orientated. It could be as simple as taking a walk, cooking together, or watching a film. It fosters connection, and remember, with teenagers, you connect before you correct, and it provides a break from the constant performance pressures. Seek feedback, periodically check in with your child to gauge if they feel overwhelmed or overburdened. It will provide them a sense of agency and show that you care about their feelings. And then, so important to educate yourself. Understand the effects of excessive pressure on children is so valuable. So you need to understand what this impact will be, and then seek support. You can even consider joining a parenting group, or maybe get somebody to help you through it. And then you have to model balance, demonstrate a balanced approach to challenges in your life. When children see their parents handling pressures healthily, they are more likely to adopt similar strategies. Now, there are amazing resources that you can use. Usually I give you titles of book, but tonight I decided I'm going to give you very interesting, useful TED Talks that you can do. So the TED Talks are a fantastic resource for gaining insights on various topics. If you want to know a lot about parenting, you will get amazing stuff on TED Talks. So, but when it comes to address the theme of putting too much pressure on children, these 6 TED Talks are really worth watching. Brené Brown is so well known to the power of vulnerability as a very, very famous TED Talk. While not exclusively about children, Brown's famous talk touches upon the idea that allowing ourselves and our children to be vulnerable can lead to more meaningful connections and experiences. It's an iconic TED Talk. And then Our Dangerous Obsession with Perfectionism is Getting Worse by Thomas Curran. Curran drives deep into modern society, increasing obsession with perfectionism, and which naturally extends to how we raise and educate our children. I particularly found this TED Talk very interesting. The Orchid and the Dandelion by W. Thomas Boyce. Boyce is a pediatrician, and he explores why some children can thrive in harsh conditions while others will wilt under this pressure. He suggests that understanding each child's unique sensitivity can be more valuable than pushing them all uniformly. A very insightful TED Talk, and it's a kind of a life-changing one. And then for parents, Happiness is a Very High Bar by Jennifer Senior. She addresses the changing paradigms of parenting, particularly how modern parents often place undue pressure on themselves to ensure their children's happiness. And then there's also one called Prepare Our Kids for Life, Not Standardized Test by Ted Dintersmith. It's a very famous TED Talk. While the primary focus is on the education system's flaws, it delves into the undue pressures placed on children to conform to standardized measures of achievement, often at the cost of creativity and well-being. And then the last one that I would like to recommend is Every Kid Needs a Champion by Rita Pearson. Now, she's an educator, and she emphasizes the importance of relationships and human connection in education, suggesting that pressurizing children for academic perfection without providing emotional support can be detrimental. And all you need to do to get to these ones is to type in either the author like Brené Brown, or you can type in The Power of Vulnerability TED Talks in Google, and it will take you straight to these ones, and you can watch it or you can download it and you can listen to it in your car. The conclusion, takeaway. So through this talk, we focus a lot on balance, because balance is key to ensure a child's optimal growth. And then it's very important to understand and to monitor signs of pressure. And lastly, equip yourself with all the right tools and mindset to assist your child when they feel pressurized. So are there any questions? You're more than welcome to put that into the chat function. And if you don't have any questions, you're more than welcome to sign off, to leave this webinar. Thank you so much for attending tonight. It was really a privilege having you all here tonight. I hope it was a good learning opportunity for you. And remember to join us again next Monday. And next Monday, we're going to talk a lot about Minecraft and how you can use Minecraft with raising your children.